it's Min from Plant Nation. Thank you for joining us and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking your time out to watch this video. I really appreciate it. If you're new to this channel, this is where I talk about the care, propagation and everything to do about plants. If you love this video, I'd be so grateful if you could please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It will truly help one of your fellow plant lovers out. So today I'm going to be talking about the propagation of Peperomia, and there's two ways to propagate Peperomia. It's either by water or by soil. I find that propagating by water is more successful for me compared to directly putting it into soil. So I have several different types here. So this one here is a Peperomia Moonlight, and this one here is a Peperomia Sunshine, and this one here, this beautiful green one with heart-shaped leaves, is a Peperomia Rana Verda, I think, or is it Verda Rana? One of those. If you know the actual name, just pop it down in the comment section. And all I do to propagate Peperomia is that I have a clean set of clippers here. So this one here, this Peperomia Sunshine, this has quite a lot of older leaves on it, and I want to make it more bushy, more luscious, so I'm going to actually trim this one here. So these Peperomia, they have leaves, of course, and then they have the little stalks sticking out. So what I tend to do is I try to pick a mature leaf and one that's a little bit defected so I can use for propagation. So for example, I have this one here. It's quite an older leaf. It's got like a little bit of defect on its leaves there. So it's a good one to propagate. It's quite large, the leaf. I also make sure that the mother plant is well watered before propagating. I find that if the mother plant is not watered properly, what will happen is that the actual cuttings are less likely to be successful. So this one here, I actually watered this morning, and it's perked up, and it just helps with the actual cuttings to have enough nutrients in it, just to give it a really good start. So all I do, so for example, this one here, all I do is I get my clippers and I'll just show you, and I just cut it. Well, I try to cut it as far down towards the plant as possible, and so there you go. So that's, oops. That's one cutting that I've done, and I just pop it directly into water. Okay, so I'm back. I got a better container. Now I've ran out of other containers, but honestly, I just use whatever I have lying around. So this is actually just like a plastic container that that used to have sauce in it, which tarte sauce, which I love that, eating that sauce. So I just use that container. But honestly, you can use anything. You can use a cup, you can use a glass, you can use a vase, whatever you have lying around. So I'm going to use this and pop the cuttings in here. The water that I use is just normal tap water. I find Peperomias aren't that fussy when it comes to water. So I just use straight out Melbourne tap water. So I'll show you another cutting to do. So say this one here, this one here, it is quite a mature leaf, and it's got defects on the leaves as well. So I'm going to cut it. Oops. Actually, it just came right off. I didn't even have to cut it. So what happens is that if you find that the leaf just drops off, intentionally or unintentionally, sometimes I bump into my plants and just falls off, I just pop it directly into soil. So the soil I use for Peperomia
is just premium potting mix. So 60% premium potting mix, and it has about 40% perlite. I also put at the bottom a little bit of horticultural charcoal, just to help with avoiding fungus and things like that. If you want to know the details of my exact soil mix, just have a look in the description area, and I'll pop a listing there. So this one here, later on, I'm just going to pop it directly into soil. So I'll show you a different one now. So let's say this one here. This is a good one. So this one here, once again, it's a mature leaf. It has a little bit of defect on it. Can you see the defect? So I'm just going to cut this one. So I try and cut it as close as I can to the mother plant. So there you go. So that's my cutting, and I'm just going to pop it into my little jar here. And I just make sure that the leaf doesn't fall into the water, because if the leaf falls in the water, it's going to rot in a few days time. So there you go. And I'll just do one more for good luck. This one here. Can you see this, guys? This one here is another mature leaf, and it has some defects in it. So I'm going to cut this one off. So there we go. That's another cutting, and I'm just going to put it directly into water. There we go. So I just make sure that the cuttings are always sitting above the water. So I find that with the peperomia, it takes a couple months for the roots to fully grow out. Once the roots have grown out, I pop it into the soil. So once again, the soil I use is 60% premium potting mix and 40% perlite. If you do have a different combination that you use for the soil, please pop it down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what sort of soil you use. Yeah, so I have some that I prepared earlier, a few months ago. What I have in this glass is that I have the Peperomia Moonlight and Peperomia Raindrop. So let me show you the cuttings. So this one here is a Peperomia Raindrop. It's about a month since I cut it, and it's growing tiny little roots. Can you see that? It's pretty cute. And this one here, these two here, is, I would say, this one keeps on falling in water. I'm just going to move it to another container. This one here is Peperomia Moonlight, and you can see has fantastic roots in there. It's actually growing little baby Peperomia in the water. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, this plant is just sitting in water and it's growing little babies there. And then I have another one. Same time, it's about 3 months since I did this cutting, and once again it has fantastic root system and little baby plants are coming out of it. With the water, I try and change the water once a week, and just to make sure the cuttings have enough oxygen to actually grow healthy roots. I have my soil, I have my cutting here. All I do is I use my trusty chopsticks, and don't worry, these only get used for actually my plants, so I have other chopsticks if you ever come around for dinner. So this one here, I do pop a hole. So I tend to move it around a little bit. So they're this decent size hole. I'm going to pop this big one first. So I'm going to pop it in the soil as far down as I can, and then I try and backfill it. Oops. Well, there goes my cutting. That's right, let's have another go at it. So I'm just going to pop it further down. There we go. And then I'm just going to fill it in. I'm just going to pop the cutting to the side so that it can actually rest on the edge of the container. That way the baby plants can still grow up. Otherwise, if I pop it further down, I'm worried that it's going to actually cover the actual young baby plants and they will rot and not grow. So I'll just pop it down here and just backfill it and just push it down slightly. There we go, that's one cutting done. So I actually have done propagation of Peperomia directly into soil. So what happens to these cuttings is that I work full time and I came home late from work and I was tired already, and I accidentally bumped into my Peperomia and a few of the leaves dropped off, and they weren't long enough to put it into water. So I thought, why not? I'll pop it directly in soil, but I couldn't be bothered making a new whole pot. So I had this ficus. This is a ficus. I think it's called Tineki, and it was living, well, it was growing by itself. And I thought, why not? I'm going to make it into a ficus Peperomia pot. So these ones here, this is Peperomia Raindrop. This one here is again Peperomia Moonlight. So these two are Moonlight, and these two at the bottom are Peperomia Sunshine. So these ones here are very new, basically yesterday. And these ones here are more like about a couple months old. These ones here, the Raindrop, are different. Some of them are a month old, a week old. Depends on when I'm clumsy and I bump into my plants and they fall off. I just couldn't have the heart of popping these leaves into the bin. So this is where propagation is what I love. So you can see how I can tell if it's actually rooting in the pot is that once it's rooted, if you gently tug on it, see this? If I gently tug on it, it's actually not coming out of the soil. And also the other type is that the leaf, it's not deteriorating. It's actually nice and firm as well. So these two here, I would say it's about a couple months now, maybe 3 months. I'm not sure you can see, but I'll give you a close-up. It's actually growing, especially this one here. It's growing little baby ones, which are really cute. I love them. So once again, these ones here, once I pop it in soil, it actually sits on an east-facing window for me. I find my Peperomia loves that area. And then that's how to propagate Peperomia. If you have different techniques on how you propagate Peperomia, I'd love to hear about it. I like to always learn, so I'm new to actually the plant world. I started about a year ago, and I would love your way, your techniques, how you do things. They'll be fantastic to know. So you have an amazing day, and if you like this video, please put a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It will truly help myself and my actual team who help make these videos. So have a great day and see you next time. Bye.